And we are back with round number 3 of the season's end tournament of the Austrian Legacy League. And we are facing here Andreas Leopoldsheder versus Tobias Jagersberger.
Yeah, and again, 2 control decks, more or less, on the side of Tobi with Food Chain, because it's more a combo deck than a control deck, but can go the control route if it needs to.
Yeah.
What do you expect
against this matchup? I think it's like pretty close, but it should result in a win for Tobi. I mean, it's a combo control deck, and the Misthollow Griffin are really, really strong in the control matchup. Yeah. So I expect it actually to be a win for Tobi. He should be like 60-70% favored or something like that.
I mean, I have to say, Andy is a really good player, but Tobi plays Food Chain since I don't know so long, and he knows the deck better than anyone I can think of.
Yeah.
And I guess he knows how to play against the 4-color control deck. And
better than the guys in our community.
Yeah, and how to bring it home.
Yeah. I mean, Tobi, basically, Food Chain was his starting point in Legacy. I think he started like last year or something like that.
Was it Food Chain or Goblins?
I mean, it was Goblins, but he quickly transitioned into Food Chain. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, because you can also play Food Chain Goblins, so...
I think this was actually his transition, am I right?
So... Okay, Goblins, Food Chain Goblins. Why am I playing Goblins again?
So, yeah.
Fair enough.
But here we see like a Baleful Strix on the side of Andy, which drew him a card, and we see some in action on the side of Tobi. The card that is really the mirror breaker here is Manipulate Fate.
Not Kiki Chiki.
Not Kiki Chiki.
But Kiki Chiki is a mirror breaker.
He is the mirror breaker.
He's the mirror breaker.
But yeah, it's if a Manipulate Fate resolves.
So you're saying he should play Goblin Food Chain because of Kiki Chiki, because of the mirror breaker.
But then you can't play the actual mirror breaker like Manipulate Fate.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's basically a draw for 2 mana, and that's so disgusting.
Yeah.
And guess what? That's the card where I decided, okay, for Opposition Agent, let's go. Because I don't want to deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
Because if that card resolves, I'm so much behind.
Yeah. That's true.
But unfortunately, Tobi is a good player and knows how to play around that.
Yeah. But we will see how Andy plays here. I mean, like, Baleful Strixen are really good in this matchup because it's like a small pressure point on the one side. It gives you card advantage. But the thing is, like, you really, really want to get your Monastery Mentor online to dish out a lot of card advantage. And I think there is only one Monster Mentor in his whole 75, which I think is something that I would have liked to be more of. Because, like, Mentor is the clock. And you really can't afford that your Mentor is, like, killed or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Hullbreacher.
So
was that in response to the Strix trigger? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So he has a token.
Yeah.
A treasure token.
Which is like mana advantage and I mean not really card advantage, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so Strix didn't replace it himself.
Yeah.
And you get a Lotus Petal basically.
Yeah. But it's still a difficult body to interact with, especially since like the Hullbreacher can't attack now, so he has to stand on defense, and yeah, bots that didn't really change. So yeah, the question now is like, how important is Fossil in this matchup, especially for Tobi? I mean, I think he has no Misthollow Griffins in hand.
Yeah, so with the Misthollow Griffin, Force of Real is just a broken card.
Yeah,
that's. Okay. Ending the Strix so he can attack with the Hullbreacher.
Okay.
Schwerter.
Sword.
Yeah, there's a Misthollow Griffin. So, pay 1 life, counter target spell, not that bad.
And let's hope that the Baleful Strix in the graveyard isn't important. On the side of Andreas.
Yeah.
I mean, there is one cool against command in his deck, so it should not really matter. And no single card that has access to the graveyard.
Prismatic ending on the Hullbreacher. He has a Swords to Plowshares 2 in hand, if he needs to.
Yeah. Okay, gets in for 1. Then I think we will just Griffin for the win.
Yeah, I mean the removal spells for Andy are white, remove it from play, and Mr. Griffin doesn't care.
Yeah.
You just play him again.
Yeah, the thing here
So
is
hard to
like,
prove it.
I hope that this is just a missed Griffin here. Don't expose your food chain to the prismatic ending or some stuff like that. The problematic thing with Baleful Strix is like it goes to the graveyard after it has blocked, so you need to exile it, but you have Uro in the deck to do this. I mean, it's only a 2-of, but yeah.
So you mean the Mist Griffin, not the Baleful Strix?
Yeah, the Mist Griffin dies because of the Baleful Strix, yeah.
So there is the foot chain.
Yeah. And Brainstorm in response. I mean, what do you think about the Brainstorm from Andy?
I like the dual lands more.
Fair.
I guess the lands are a little bit taking my look away from the Brainstorm.
I mean, those are pretty sick. Those are altars by Scorch Altars. And they are looking fantastic and incredible. He's pretty famous among like American players and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So putting the 2 swords away. I mean, swords aren't doing anything this matchup anyway.
Yeah, because they are just useless against the Griffin. I mean,
yeah.
You can get 3 damage off the board, but
yeah. And here we have like Snapcaster Mage for Prismatic Ending, and yeah. This is the reason I would have played the Mist Griffin the last turn.
Yeah. Because it doesn't matter if he just played a...
I mean, he has a second copy in hand now, but I'm still playing here the Griffin and not the...
He goes again.
Okay, sure. The thing with the Griffin is like, you need resources to kill the Griffin and stuff like that. So if it's a swords or something like that, the Snapcaster Mage can't come in. So you have a lot of things that you can do. And I mean, now Toby is only a top deck away from winning the game. I mean, only a top deck away. And Toby is at 10 life. So
just has to be a recruiter or a walking ballista or something like that.
Or an Uro. An Uro would be pretty sick. Or is it an Hydro Graces?
Yeah, that goes to So, I'm playing my Griffin. I make infinite mana.
Yep.
Because I can.
Yeah. Okay. In response to the second one.
Yeah, in response to the cast.
Yeah. And I think you will just eat the Force of Will here. Don't force back. Please don't force back.
Yeah, why should he? Because yes.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't have a payoff after that if he pitches the crisis.
Yeah, unfortunately the Griffin is now in the graveyard. This is the thing here. And there were only 2 mana for Toby, so you can't cast your Graces. Mm-hmm. If you top decks a land, he can cast the Graces to draw 2 cards.
X and 2 mana.
Yeah. It would be X and 4 mana, actually, because he has a Treasure and a land drop if he draws one.
Yeah, no, but the casting cost 2 mana and X.
Yeah, the casting crisis. Yeah. And I think you will just draw 2 here. Because you need it in this matchup. It's like so important. And it's still a 2-for-1 or even a 3-for-1 because it's like, yeah. Okay. Taking and 1 down to 6, then casting a Crisis, getting 2 life and drawing 2 cards. And I think it's a cast trigger.
Yeah, that one I don't know.
But yeah, should be Should be 2 life going up to 8 and drawing 2 cards, which should be good enough. And yeah, back to the opponent. I mean, it will get sorted, most likely.
2 beautiful caps.
do you see the... I mean, on our presentation screen, unfortunately, my signature isn't shown.
Yeah.
Because it's hidden after the deck list. But
Yeah, because the less important one is usually not on the screen.
that's a big hit. But yeah, those are Austrian Legacy League caps. You can order them at, I think, myspreadshirt.com/Austrian Legacy League or something like that. Most likely we will put the link to our merch shop into our description. And it's on pair with the In Response Legacy podcast merch shop. So you can buy merch from the In Response cast too. And we have here Sorin, which is like a pretty nice planeswalker nowadays. Because it's like pretty good. It doesn't die to bolt, doesn't die to
Power
blast.
or something, yeah.
And it's a good win condition, and it's hard to remove with prismatic ending. So really, really good card. And
Yeah, he can make card advantage. He can make a body. He
Yeah.
can deal 13 damage if he wants to.
yeah,
Not that bad.
and the 2/3 flying lifelink creature is something that is really, really strong.
Yeah.
Which is a card that you may remember from the past. It's like Vampire Nighthawk.
Mm.
And
Does it have Death Touch though?
no, it should be flying lifelink.
Okay, not quite a Nighthawk.
Oh, then the Nighthawk had
The
flying
Nighthawk
lifelink and Death Touch. Okay. I'm sorry. I mean, it was my card that I played back in the days.
But I remember it because I played against it. So
It also had Death Touch. That was the reason that it was strong, because in the Vampire deck you had the Lord that gave +1/+1 in first strike. So it was really, really strong, because like first strike and Death Touch is a strong combination. And here we see an Hymn to Turok.
yeah, sure. I guess he will just let it resolve there.
And this one is also foil and altered by Scorch Altars.
Foil him to Turok.
Yeah.
Okay, Force Pitch Force on the him. So what does he have in hand?
No Mist Hologriffin.
Apparently.
So yeah. But here we will see just a Mystic Sanctuary, buy back Hymn to Turok,
I mean,
brainstorm into Hymn to
what
Turok.
would also be good is you play against Painter says blue, and you pitch the Eternal Scorch.
Yeah. I mean, you can't... I can't tell you how many times I exile the lands to my own Force of Wills because of Painter, so
Yeah, sure.
on my own battlefield. Good times, good times. But yeah, we have a Icewind Quartel in play, and it looks pretty dire for Tobias.
Yeah, that's because of the white border dual-lands.
Yeah,
He's just getting in with the black border.
and because of...
So Andy plays the money card, so
Yeah.
what can you do against that? That's unfortunate.
I mean, Trigger says Hymn to Turok? Force of Will, actually. Okay, fair enough. Oh, is it Fairy no bounce?
The fairy bounce snappy.
Oh, would be a strong thing to do.
Okay, yeah, sure. Removing the vampire in response.
A Legacy podcast.
A legacy podcast, or in response because the fairy says no after.
Teferi says we are in Hearthstone mode now.
No, bouncing the Coatl.
I mean, it allows for a little bit of a more pressure gameplay. I mean, Toby is at 5
Yeah.
life, so that's also the reason that he sorted the Nighthawk, I think. Or the token. Does we have an Uro here? Or another Quartel? Another Quartel. Okay. Then we have Food Chain. And I think it's just land and pass. Or not even land. Now we kinda have to go jump blocking mode. Okay. Looking at the top card.
Okay,
And-
he thinks about it. The good thing with Soren is it's not quite a bob, because
Okay.
he can choose if he wants the card or not.
And yeah, Soren is pretty strong. And the Snap Custom Mage too. So it's like, yeah. We are just waiting for the defeat, I think. Do you see any draws that can give Toby a winning line?
Food chain. If he has... Yeah, he needs to get the Mist Hologryph and an Exile first.
And Andy
And
has a
need-
Force of Will in hand.
Yeah, and he needs a payoff after... I don't know.
Yeah, it's just block. It's okay for him. Then you play Snappy, him to Turach. Yeah.
Now
Now
I guess
you-
now we are on the point where...
Uptick Teferi.
Yeah, where Toby can't go back. Can't come back.
And you can even ambush Viper, Brainstorm the second Snapcaster Mage. So you have like 4 damage for the next turn. The Fetchland is like locked up. And yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah, you do not bluff anything, Toby. You can't do. you cannot play instant speed, so just play the land. Or yeah, you can keep it for Brainstorm or something like that. But
Ah, yeah, Teferi you can even ponder here.
Yep.
And
because
triple land. I mean, they're all white bordered, so you don't take
yeah,
them.
you don't want them. oh,
It
God.
destroys the picture.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
there
agree.
isn't even an old bordered Mystic Sanctuary on the side of Andreas. Not even old bordered foil.
Yeah, that's a game loss for me. But, so come on, get your things together.
Okay, Prismatic Ending taking 1, going down to 14 or something like that. Uptick Teferi, get in for 4, and
Yeah, and Toby have seen enough, so it's okay. No, him that thing, and go again.
in response to your conceit, Snap Custom Mage, Snap Custom Mage.
Expressive iteration.
So yeah, it's a first game victory for Andreas Lobholz Eder on.
I think in my country we call that BM.
I mean, it's pretty much BM, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm still thinking that Toby is favored, but yeah, Andy has a lot of 2-for-1s, and the Prismatic Ending is a clean answer for the food chains. But I still think that the key card is like Manipulate Fate, and Toby didn't found it.
Yep.
And with Manipulate Fate in play, it would be quite a different picture.
So the key card is the first Manipulate Fate, because you don't want to draw second or third ones.
I mean, the second or third aren't great, but they still get you 1 card out and like 2 useless cards out. So.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
And
they still
draw
draw
your
you
card.
2. The second one still draws you 2 cards because you get like the
yeah,
third.
because he plays 3 Griffins and an Eternal Scourge.
So it's like it still gives you the 4th creature if you didn't found it already, and exiles a card that you don't want currently on this board. So for example, like an additional fetch land because you fetched a few times, so or 2 additional fetch lands basically. So the third one is like pitch me to force, baby. So
in terms of sideboarding, what do you think?
I think we will see something like Pyroblast on the side of Andy,
Yeah, sure.
and then maybe Spell Pierces, but maybe Spell Pierces, I'm not sure. The question is if you want to see the Force of Wills, and I think the answer is like board those out for Pyroblasts and Spell Pierces.
Yeah, in terms of Toby, I think it's a little bit tough, because
You want to Endurances. You saw
Yeah.
like a lot of Snapcaster Mages.
you
so
want endurance. I guess you want the Veil of Summer,
You definitely want the Whale of Summer.
and maybe you want the Fluster Storms.
The Fluster could be something. Yeah. And the question is now if he boards out all the Swords to Plowshares and stuff like that, and then we see a turn 4 Mentor on the side of Andy, and he goes Rampage on Toby. This could actually something that we can see in the near future. I mean, Andy can't, if he boards out the Force of Wills, he can't go really that aggro because you can't out-tap yourself.
Yep.
But we will see if we will see something like a Spell Pierce, which will be interesting. So, yeah.
They are shuffling up.
And they're ready for game 2. So, yeah. Shuffle. Do we have any other to talk about other than the fact that it's quite uncomfortable to commentate without having completely live totals?
Yeah, I mean, Toby is helping a little bit, but...
And Andy, I can read it better on Andy's side. Can you read it better on Toby's side? The live totals?
No.
I think Andy has a little bit of a cleaner writing, but you can only see it when he has his hand above it because of the shadows.
Yeah. Because of the lightning,
yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, that we have to improve.
No.
Is it really that hard to put a mobile phone on the table?
Yeah. We will have to...
Because everyone knows by now.
Yeah.
That we need the live total.
Yep.
I guess we have to...
Remind it every round.
Yeah, well, I hang a picture on the wall or something like that. So come on, use mobile phones.
We could put something down at... I will look into it, like a paper on the streaming map whenever we do streams.
Yes.
With a sign, put your mobile phone here.
Sure.
So that, I mean, we are in talks like doing like an iPad or any other like how's it called, tablet to put down there to have the live totals, because it's like really important if you watch the video afterwards or the footage. I mean, in those matchups, live totals are like pretty irrelevant. But if you have something like Delver versus Doomsday or something like that, it's pretty relevant.
Yeah.
No spoilers for round 5, yeah.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's a wonderful matchup.
I mean, it's wonderful for the Delver side, yeah.
You think? Really?
I mean, it's
not
really unfavored for the Delver side.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how are tournaments called? In the end, 100 people battled it out, and in the end, Blue Red Delver always wins. So,
yeah, because 99 of them are Delver players, so quite a chance.
I mean, in the 4 seasons in Bologna, there were 5 Delver decks in there.
Yeah, one of them was Timur.
One of them was Rak. You don't call it Timur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry.
The thing is, you call it Grixis and Rak Delver.
Okay.
But not Timur. And what is the acronym for Grixis? It's like URB
Europe. Europe.
I think it's UBR actually.
Rap.
So you have bro. We have Bro Delver versus Bro Delver versus Rak Delver.
That's my new brew.
I have Bro Delver.
I brew Delver.
I mean, actually, like 4-color Delver is called Castlevania Delver.
Yeah. Because
like the acronym Burg means castle in German, so yeah, it's Burg Delver. I mean, we'll see a 2-drop on the side of Toby with the Ice Fang Quattle. You still have the Swords of Plowshares in.
There's a Manipulate Fate in hand, so maybe he just wants to Manipulate Fate now.
Yeah.
And it resolves, I guess.
I mean, it will get forced.
It's just the fetch.
Is it a Force of Will? Or
yeah, that's the ammo. No, it's a Spell Pierce, I guess.
It's a Spell Pierce, yeah.
It's a Spell Pierce.
Yeah. So Spell Pierces came in. Yeah.
Amonkhet Invocation?
Yeah. I mean, Andy's like blinging out his deck. as much as he can.
I hate playing spells and then fetch, so...
I mean, there could have been something like Exile Sim Spirit Guide, Exile Sim Spirit Guide, Manamorphose. Yeah.
Dark Ritual.
I mean, you can pitch also a third Spirit Guide.
You can also stifle. So, just in case. I guess.
Okay, Inquisition of Kozilek. I mean,
that's tough.
This should be the Quartal.
Yeah, I guess. Quartal or... how's it called?
Recruiter of the Guard?
Yep.
I think it's just a Quartal. You don't want your opponent to get the land drop. So, I mean, it feels like a little bit dumb when you pick the Quartal and he gets the land drop and plays the Recruiter.
Yeah, no,
but you're still missing lands and stuff like that, so... Yeah. I think Quartal, and please give it a land.
Okay. Brainstorm, but not that bad.
Not that bad. Still think it was not right. So you fetch here for a volcanic island or a Badlands. Should be Volk. You don't really have any double black double. I mean, you have a few double black spells, so you actually go for the Badlands here because of like Sorin and him to Turok, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, free him to Turok. I like that. Him, turn 2.
Yeah.
Turn 4, Snapcaster him.
It's like so good.
That's something you can do. Or just, so turn 2. I guess the best thing that can happen is...
Ooh, it's like... It's double pond or Swords to Plowshares. So you kind of want to exile the Swords to Plowshares and put the pond in hand? Or do you give the swords in hand and the pond in exile?
Does he has a land in hand?
I think it's just a Mystic Sanctuary.
Okay.
Or does he have... No, he has a Tundra.
Yeah.
Okay. And you just want to use the ponder to find you an additional land and even a Force of Will to protect your hand.
But the Mystic Sanctuary made the Badlands take more tricky.
Yeah.
So that what I wanted to say was, I guess the best thing that Andy can have is turn 2 him to Turok, turn 3 Explosive Federation, turn 4 Snapcaster him to Turok.
Yeah.
Right.
So do we see her? Okay.
A cap, yeah.
He destroys the focus of the cap. See?
So he's in the tank about the Brainstorm. Because he knows, okay, Dobby is missing land drops.
Yeah. And he can put the Swords of Plowshares away, which is a useless card.
But he says, okay.
Okay. We have an Ur in hand. And hopefully a land for him.
Do you think that is a mistake to not counter the Brainstorm?
No, I don't think it is. It's a mistake. It's like one of two lines that he could take. He could like aggro Force and hope that he misses land drops. But if you play here the Brainstorm and you had the land in hand, you got the Force for free out and an additional card.
Andy has no pressure on the field, so...
Yeah. And we have blue Elemental Blasts on... a one of blue Elemental Blast on the side of Toby here to maybe counter those expressive iterations.
Mm-hmm.
The problem here is like, the blue Elemental Blast pitches to Force, or is this a Flusterstorm? Yeah. So, yeah. Sorin is like a really, really good answer. Plays around every blast. Only Force of Will or Force of Negation can take it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, so... I mean, actual factual counterspell would do it too. But yeah.
I guess Spell Pierce would do it too. In this case.
No.
But Spell Pierce are only played by the good players.
I mean, Spell Pierce is like a card that isn't that common currently. But Spell Pierce is like... was like a 3-of in the winning deck list from Bologna.
But the thing, it isn't that common currently. Yeah. Nobody expects it.
Yeah.
And that's the strength of something like Spell Pierce.
Yeah.
Because you play around days, yeah, sure, but not around spell pierce.
Yeah. And stuff like Soren is like primed to play around like Pyroblast or Hydroblast, but yeah, Spell Pierce still gets it. And yeah, I mean, I'm still not that big of a fan of Spell Pierce, but
You're not.
I mean, it's like from a tempo perspective, you need still the one land unused, but currently you have a lot of things that you cast on the end step and stuff like that, so it's not that big of a deal.
So is it a Uro?
Yeah, it's an Uro.
So gaining 2 life, more or less.
Yeah.
Because of the Waterlogged Grove.
So adds 20 and getting an additional land out there and attacking in on Soren to keeping down from basically ulting.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have.
Is it -7 or -6? -7.
I think its minus is pretty irrelevant. But yeah, should be something like 4 turns uptick or something like that. Okay. It's putting something on top. Spell Pierce, yeah. And we see here the Monastery Mentor. And if there is a force of will on the side of Toby, he has to force it here. Yeah. 5 cards in the graveyard, in addition to Oro. And so there Oro is a... escape. Yeah. And the thing here is like... Yeah, uptick, so important. Because you want the second counterspell here. Because you go now.
Yeah, because now the Monastery Mentor comes down, and if Toby wants to sword him, there's a counter war and so much monk tokens coming down.
Yeah.
So one trigger,
sword,
2 trigger,
Flusterstorm it, Force of Wish,
3 trigger.
Yeah. And you get like 1, 2, 3 tokens.
Yeah, sure. And the Force of Will gets on the Sword Supplanter, so the Mentor will resolve.
And
stay on the board, I should say.
Yeah, and the thing is like, maybe it's right for Toby to let everything resolve, because he knows that the Spell Pierce doesn't get it.
Yep.
And then he can at least get rid of... Oh, those are monk tokens by Kai Savatari. I have to shout him out. Get your alterations at savatarix.com.
I think my charm looks prettier than that.
Yeah.
I have to say. No, they are beautiful.
Those are like really, really cool. And yeah.
I guess they are debate what's going on.
No, which are the targets for the Flusterstorm, because
if he said nothing, the Flusterstorm targets the last thing that got played by Andy.
Yeah, I think Andy just throw out the Force of Will before he can even interact with it. So
okay.
Because then like Toby can say like Storm Trigger, and if in response to the Storm Trigger Andy said like Force of Will like the first spell.
Yeah, sure, because that's the trigger of that you can copy the spell.
Yeah.
The copies are not on the stack then.
And then the copies will counter whatever they want. But yeah, seems like pretty much game over for Toby here.
Yeah, that's really rough.
I mean,
Manipulate Fate and Force of Will in hand.
I mean, you kind of have to gamble to get in the Aura, hope to get an additional land drop. Because if you get the additional land drop, you get to manipulate Fate, and then it looks a little bit better, but only a little bit. The problem is that you kind of have to go aggro now with everything. I mean, you get your Oro, you get up in life totals, you draw a card, you put in hopefully land.
No,
unfortunately not. So, but you still have 2 cards unfortunately, the Coatl doesn't have Death Touch.
Because there are only two others. Two
Yeah.
others no covered permanent.
Now it's a really cool thing where... Oh no, it will be just the Swords to Plowshares. Please tell me that it does expand the Pyroblast here. It would be so good for Toby, but yeah, it should be just the Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah, deal with the Uro for
Forever.
Because the Pyroblast on the Griffin is so much better than the sword.
Yeah.
If he has a Griffin.
Exactly. And here we have like coming in for 6.
So more triggers.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't have Death Touch.
So he can attack with
he can
everything,
attack
so
with the Mentor.
coming in for 10. And this will be... Will it be a jump block on the Manta? I don't think so, because the next turn can be more hard. I mean, I mean, it should be on like...
Can you guess the life totals? Or read it?
I think it's 17 or something like that.
Oh god.
So a long way to go. I mean, it isn't actually that long.
So manipulate fate.
I mean, this should be like Pyroblasted. Then you get in the...
So is it like Richard Garfield intended? Magic the Gathering. Blue Blast, the Red Blast. Did he announce the triggers for the monks?
I mean, the spell still isn't cast because no lands are tapped. And then the trigger, yeah.
Just like Richard Garfield intended to.
Yeah. Mr. Holograph.
How many monk tokens does this guy have?
Maybe 10. So it's like 2 Mr. Hologriffins and an Eternal Scorch. The problem is like Sorin is just so good here. I mean, there is now a world where Toby can win.
Yeah, there is a world.
It's a small world, but there is one.
I guess it's Pluto.
So he drew a card, he exiles his cards. Does he have a land drop? There is the food chain. He was 1 land drop away from winning this game. No.
Yeah, I mean he still needs the...
No.
Yeah, okay, he can just play all of his Griffins
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't...
at the Scorch.
Unfortunate. I mean, he still has an endurance, am I right?
Yeah, but yeah, he can...
You can play the food chain, then evoke the endurance, and in response to its triggers...
Yeah, sure, you can do that, but he needs a land.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't need a land now, but let's see.
He has a land. But unfortunately, he has 1 card to less. He now runs into Force of Will here.
Yeah, he can play Well of Summer, but now he can't play the Endurance.
He needs
Otherwise, he... Okay. So, just find a green
Any
card,
blue card. Any green card. Any green card.
So,
1,
Uro, Endurance. Oh, come on, shuffle it.
No, you can't. You take the Brainstorm and shuffle.
Yeah.
You take the Brainstorm and shuffle.
Oh, that's intense.
You take the Brainstorm and shuffle away.
No!
No!
He says okay. Why?
Why? No.
Because he ult?
I mean, maybe he can ult on the next turn.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I mean, he can build a board, but Florian just shoots him for 13.
But yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
So
But it was intense.
it was.
So he needed... Yeah, but he had a car.
But he didn't got.
No,
He
yeah,
would have just got.
He needed the Walking Ballista too.
Yeah.
He needed a green card, and
It was only 3
and
creatures
a
out, yeah.
reclaim or a walking ballista.
Unfortunately, 1 card too short.
Damn.
But pretty cool match.
Yeah. Really interesting. And who would have thought 2-0 for Andy?
I thought Toby was more favored, but apparently, like, the I mean, it's, how's it called? Like, in German, it's like Jausenpile, which means like
the check pile.
The check pile is like a lot of 2-for-1s with like Home to Turek, Expressive Iteration, Snapcaster Mages, like Cooligans Command back Snapcaster Mage for another Home to Turek and stuff like that. It's like really, really hard. And Toby didn't really found a good point to resolve a Manipulate Fate. And the last one was just way too slow.
Yep.
And way too late, yeah.
Way too late.
So, yeah, pretty interesting match. And you will catch the next round, which will be round 4 of the season's end tournament of the Austrian Legacy League.
See you there.